Welcome back to Making It TV Presents. On today's show, we're talking about taking measured chances, a common denominator among all small business owners.
Our next entrepreneur, Maribel Mena, she knew that leaving a stable job to start her own business was a risk. But what made it even chancier was that she was leaving the medical field for construction. It was a precarious move to become the woman in charge in a traditionally male field.
Maribel is used to being a trailblazer. She was the first person in her family to graduate college and to serve in the military. She's a disabled veteran, so she's named her company American Veteran Inc.
Founded in 2008, it's now a rapidly growing construction company. But to start the business, Maribel had to cash in all of her savings, including her 401k.
It was a stomach-churning move, a move many potential entrepreneurs are afraid to take. But Maribel says she was taking a chance on herself. And while other business owners struggle to climb over brick walls, Maribel is happy to build them.
The biggest joy that I get out of doing this is really owning what we do. For one of the clients that I'm currently working with, we're building a block wall. I know with this specific project, when they called me and said, "You got the project," I said, "Are you sure you're calling the right person?" Because, it was the first time and I was just excited about doing work with them. But, once we go out there just watching, the fence being demoed and then all of the block being put up and saying, wow, that's mine. I own that. I started it. I got all the people together. I put the schedule together, and from beginning to the end, it's mine.
Maribel Mena launched her entrepreneurial career by starting her construction company, American Veteran Inc., after serving in the U.S. Navy. She had detoured from the medical field to construction.
I always had in mind that I was going to become a nurse. When I went to apply to nursing school, I wanted to get into an accelerated program. When I applied, I was part of 40 that were chosen out of 300 and some applicants. And after that, the 40, they only chose 36. So I had already put in my mind, I said, if I don't get picked, I got to do something else. And the only other thing I knew how to do was the construction.
Maribel's company supplies construction services and environmental remediation services. To fund her business, she took a leap of faith and put her own money on the line.
I had some money saved, and from working all those years, I worked in a doctor's office and the hospital, and I had a lot of money in my 401k, so I was bad and I cashed it out to start the business. So I took a chance on myself. I said, eventually I'll make that money back.
She's still learning the ropes as the new business owner and seeks counsel from several of her friends who are seasoned entrepreneurs.
A lot of my colleagues, they've been in business a lot longer than I have. So whenever I have questions, they'll tell me, who the right people are to go. And like other companies, when they're first starting out, kind of go in circles, talking to one person and then just get the runaround. And they'll go years without really knowing who the right person to talk to is. And these people have been there, done that, so they tell me this is the right person to go to.
One of Maribel's important business goals is to hire other veterans because they can easily relate.
Currently, I have 2 employees I've served in the military. We understand each other. There's not a lot of people out there that can understand what it's like to serve in the military, the whole boot camp experience and the discipline, the way it works.
Part of Maribel's continuing service is to be involved in community organizations.
I serve on boards for many different community organizations. The way that has helped me is create visibility for myself, and with visibility comes credibility. As I participate in all these organizations, there's always events going on, and the more they see my face, the more they believe that I want to do business with them. They start to vouch for me and they start selling my business for me. Sometimes I don't even have to say anything. They'll just go and say, "Oh, this is Maribel and she does construction and you should really work with her." And I just sit there and I'm like, wow, I sometimes it's just so unexpected, but it's great to have that camaraderie.
Maribel's networking paid big dividends. Eventually, she was able to land a contract with SoCalGas.
I have to say, Southern California Gas has a great team. A lot of the people there really get to know you, know what you're about. They helped me find that project where I could get my foot in the door and just show them what I'm about. We worked on their gas infrastructure protection program, which what we did is install ball alerts to protect all their gas meters. I mean, it's not something very lavish, but it was fun.
Whether you are a small business or a large business, you're sometimes presented with the same challenges.
The most difficult thing I've had to do with operating the business is being able to keep the business going. Finding the projects, that's the challenging thing. Whether we're doing work on the federal side or with the utilities, it's just finding the work, you know, being included in the proposal process. That's the challenge.
Maribel offers some advice on how to do business with large companies.
The advice I have for aspiring entrepreneurs is don't go out there with that attitude that you're owed something because you're a minority or because you're a woman-owned business or because you're a disabled vet. Nothing is owed to us. We all have to prove ourselves. That's one thing that one of the supplier diversity people within SoCalGas, he always tells me, he's like, I really like you. He says, because you come on, you say, hey, how's it going? You talk to me, ask me how my family's doing. He's like, we don't always talk business. And he's like, a lot of people just come up to me and say, hey, I want a contract. You know, when are you going to give me a contract? And he said, it doesn't work that way. And he goes, I'm glad that you understand that. And he goes, and that's why we like you and we want to do more work with you, which makes me feel really good.
Along with her background and expertise, Maribel's networking skills have landed her federal contracts with the Army, the Air Force, and Department of Veteran Affairs.
Coming up next, our special guest, Mr. Rick Morrow, talks about pipeline safety, vendor diversity, and smart pigs. He's the VP of Engineering and Operations at SoCalGas. We'll be right back.